Welcome back to 10 Count on UCN Live. I'm Steve Kim, joined by Michael Baca and Doug Fischer. Guys, this weekend, AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World, near Dallas, Texas. It is the battle for the WBO 154-pound title. Saul Canelo Alvarez takes on Liam Smith. Doug, call me a homer, call me what you will. I think Liam Smith's a solid guy. Do I think he's Demetrius Andrade or J-Rock, Julian Williams at 54? No, but I think he's a solid fighter. And even Freddie Roach says that this is not an easy out for Canelo.
I didn't know you were British.
Oh,
how are you a homer by giving Smith a shot?
You know, I know Joe Gallagher well. You know.
Great guy. One of the young, up-and-coming training talents in boxing. He was Ring Magazine's Trainer of the Year last year. Got a great stable. And he usually does well with his fighters. I like what I've seen from Beefy Smith. I like what I saw from him in his WBO title-winning effort. I like it's not crazy hard pressure. I mean, obviously it's not Chocolatito Gonzalez or Triple G Golovkin. It's a little more subtle than that. It's not quite as sophisticated. It's not quite as active as those expert pressure fighters. But it's a smart pressure. It stresses guys out. He does come forward, keeps a nice high guard. He is a little stiff in the upper body. The head is straight up there. But I like his jab. It's a good, stiff, hard jab. I love his body work. I like how he closes distance, and when he's in close, he does a lot of damage. In many ways, he reminds me of Canelo, only he's more willing to come forward than Canelo Alvarez, who seems to like to stake out the center of the ring.
Mike, we have to be honest about this. Me and Doug will be there the whole week for Ring TV, so we're going to be there. We have to cover the fight. You don't. You have choices. How interested are you in this?
Well, to answer your question, I won't be watching the fight live, but that's because I have other obligations to fulfill, particularly a wedding of a friend of mine.
But that says something. If it's a fight that you really want to see, you're going to find a way.
Just mail in the gift card.
I will say it was a wedding I can easily have gotten out of.
Okay.
So.
I hope those people don't see this, by the way.
I hope they do.
Okay.
Ask me the question again.
So after this wedding, after the free bar, after you've given them their toaster, okay, how much anticipation are you gonna rush back home to watch this?
That'll be tough because I honestly don't know anyone buying the pay-per-view. I still gotta kind of figure that out. If worst comes to worst, I'll watch the replay the next Saturday on HBO. But the fight is actually the best fight of the card. I will say that, Canelo Smith. And I like Smith. He's got 8 knockouts in a row. He's got pretty heavy hands, very fundamentally sound kind of guy. And he's much better than Amir Khan, I'll tell you that, as far as a matchup against Canelo.
Well, he can match Canelo's size.
Yeah,
these are two
and
guys,
he can take his punches.
Yeah, these are two big junior middleweights. They're going to weigh in at 154, and they're going to fight at 170.
And Doug, you pointed this out before. Canelo has not technically been a real junior middleweight, even though he might be one masquerading as one, in 3 years since he fought Mayweather, 2013. The one thing that concerns me about Liam Smith is that you talk about the high guard, does a little bit of the winky right catch and counter. He has a good jab, but I think he's got to initiate. I think number one, he's got to realize you're the B side, you're on the road, you've got to get out there. And I think this is where Joe Gallagher has to learn from the Quigg Frampton fight, where I don't think he went to the whip soon enough. You give him a round or two to settle in, the bright lights are going to be there, but then he's got to be a hard coach. He's got to go to the whip and say, wait a minute, are you here just to win or just go to the distance? There's no moral victories in boxing, guys.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I really think when it comes to Canelo Alvarez's advantages in this fight, it's not physical. It's not really technical either. It's because, as you said, Smith's got a good foundation. He's got good fundamentals. Very solid fighter. I think what Canelo Alvarez has over Smith is experience. He's got a degree of ring savvy from having been in with a Floyd Mayweather, with an Erislandy Lara, with an Austin Trout.
Fighting in stadiums.
Yeah, and he's used to the big stage. He's used to fighting the huge, not just the big arenas, but the big events. He's used to doing the press junket. He's used to the being under the spotlight, being in the fishbowl, so to speak. And he seems to know what to do. You know, a Mayweather fight aside, he seems to know what to do in order to win rounds, even if he's not doing a lot. So to me, that behooves Smith to be very active, to outwork this guy, to make him uncomfortable, to force him into a fight.
You know, sometimes when you're in a position like Liam Smith, and I asked this of Jesse Vargas before the press conference last week, and also his trainer Dewey Cooper, I said, are you guys just going to settle for the moral victory? I've always said to pull an upset of this nature, you have to be willing to be knocked out to actually win. Because I see too many guys playing it safe and saying, hey, I went the distance. No one cares. It's terrible. With that said, Mike, once again on a Canelo fight week, and we saw this last time, May 7th, is the focus of this promotion, is there a shadow looming from Kazakhstan named Gennady Golovkin?
There will always be, especially since Canelo invited him to the ring and did whatever he did.
He effed around, by the way.
He certainly effed around.
He did, yeah.
And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's always going to be in the back of the mind, especially when watching Golovkin-Brook. Canelo's in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I watched that fight. I see the electricity from the crowd, and it was a pretty good fight for what it was.
Yeah.
For however long it lasted. And the back of my mind was, imagine if it's Canelo in there.
Yeah.
Do you know how crazy these fans are going to be for that fight?
Listen, Canelo Golovkin could be held at AT&T Stadium,
yes.
and they could actually put 80,000, 90,000 fans in there.
I agree.
It could be like, you know, NBA All-Star game. You know what I mean? That kind of an event, like a Super Bowl. You know, it's cliche in boxing. Whenever there's a big pay-per-view event, the promoters say, "Hey, this is boxing Super Bowl."
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
But
this one would
Golovkin Canelo has that potential. So obviously, yeah, that shadow from Kazakhstan, it's going to loom over Arlington, Texas on September 17. And I agree with you, Mike. I think it's a good thing. It gets old to talk about a fight that is at least, you know, it's a year away from happening. We hope. You know, there does come a point where it's like, you know, I want a little bit more creativity from the media. You know, I understand fans are going to be fans and just be nuts and obsessive.
The word they're looking for is gratuitous.
Yeah, it's kind of like you guys have asked these same questions. We've had the same stories over and over.
Let me just say this.
Can we switch it up just a little bit?
If we're into next May and June and it's clear that they're not making this fight, it's like I've said this before, bring out the pitchforks, bring out the picket signs, bring out the flamethrowers.
Right.
But with that said, I do believe our job as the media is to kind of gently remind Chepo Reynoso and Canelo, hey, there's this guy that just kind of fought, you dumped the title.
Reminder.
That, hey, what about it? But there also comes a point, we have a fight to cover.
Right.
And I think Liam Smith, Freddie Roach completely agreed. I asked him this Saturday. Freddie, in your professional estimation, is Liam Smith a better, tougher opponent at 154 than Amir Khan was at 155? And he said, it's not even a question. Because think about it, Liam Smith's never been knocked down. It's his real weight. He's not moving up in weight. So I think this is going to go rounds. I don't see a highlight reel knockout here. In fact, I see Canelo winning the fight where he actually has to work for it.
That's going to be a good fight then. Given,
decision?
Yeah,
Yes,
given Smith's styles and given Canelo's history against aggressive come-forward fighters, we're in for an entertaining fight.
Yeah. So, Mike, whenever you watch it, I think you're going to like what you see.
I will. But again, like we said, the Golovkin fight looms. And you said bring out the pitchforks.
Yeah.
And if you really want to see that Canelo-Golovkin fight, you make your voice heard with your wallet.
Vote. That's how you vote.
It's a pay-per-view. You don't have to buy it. I said that before the Khan fight. That was the article I wrote on that fight. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
And that is the power of the consumer indeed. All right, and on behalf of the Ralph Nader of our show, Mike Baca and Doug Fischer, this is Steve Kim saying goodbye, everybody.